Alright. Damn, I always act like I feel like I'm going in between like an aisle at the church or something when somebody about to go get married. Anyway, welcome back to the I Am Bruce Leroi channel. Obviously, this is your boy Bruce Leroi. Before we get started with today's video, I need y'all to do a few things for me. Like, comment, subscribe before I kick all y'all asses right before episode. Fuck it, I messed up the joke. Follow me on my social medias. Everything's at I Am Bruce Leroi. That includes Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. All right. I don't know why I put pause on that last part. We was doing so good. I ain't gonna lie to you. We was doing a really good job the last 2 or 3 videos, really nailing the intro, and then we obviously fucked up on this one. Okay. So moving forward, I want to address a few things before we get started. So today's video, let's just put that out in the air right now. We're going to be recapping Saturday, which was yesterday because I'm filming on Sunday. We're going to recap yesterday's game against the Minnesota Vikings. That was our last and final preseason game. And then we head over on Friday, we head over against the Green Bay Packers, right? So September 6th is going to be a great day because not only my Eagles going to be playing, also, that's going to be release date for me, which I'll get into it. I'll get some more information about that towards the end of this video, all right? Now, before we get into what actually took place in this game, which honestly, I'm going to be honest with you, there's more conversation to be had about things pertaining before the game than, you know, what actually happened during the game. I'm not going to lie to you, it was pretty uneventful. We got our ass kicked 26-3. It's really nothing to talk about. The defense played like shit. So, a few things I want to address. The first thing, number one. So, I posted up like a TikTok, an Instagram. I posted like on YouTube Shorts, like multiple platforms. So I clipped the last Eagles video we did, which was pretty much a recap of the Eagles and the Patriots, and then I talked about some other stuff with that. I added in a topic because I just, I was interested in having some dialogue about it. So I was talking about, Noah Lyles and the comments that he made against Anthony Edwards. It's just how Noah Lyles is like one of the worst trolls ever, and he's not really trolling because he's putting himself in a position where, people are not going to support him because of how he's coming off to other people. My fault. Damn thing about that, a little too tight. But yeah, so because of how he's presenting himself, he's kind of making himself dislikable, right? And I kind of use the N-word on several times throughout the short. And I think there was another clip that I put. I think when I was was ranting about Sirianni not playing the starters in the preseason, and then how he's still, despite the fact that Kenny Pickett is showing that he's not better than Tanner McKee. He's not even trying to give Tanner McKee an opportunity, even though he clearly is the more superior quarterback. We'll talk about those two coming up, because neither one of them did really well yesterday. But we're going to address the elephant in the room. I'm a black man, okay? I understand that I got, the European features is kind of kicking out a little bit. I'm light-skinned, clearly, and I have curly hair, all right? And for whatever reason, I guess because y'all look at me, because here's a reality situation. I don't know where y'all coming from, but I don't get how y'all could look at me and say, oh, that's a white guy. You know what I'm saying? To me, that shit, it doesn't make any fucking sense. And also think about it like this. What type of individual would I to be sitting up there trying to make something out of myself and trying to, get famous and get rich if I'm trying to get rich off of saying a word that I know I'm not supposed to say?
In this video specifically, Yeet, why does he not say nigga?
Okay. So, a lot of y'all gave me flack in the comments about using the N-word, telling me to watch my mouth, which I promise you, that's not going to go over well in person. Don't tell me to watch my mouth. You didn't fucking raise me. You better watch your mouth because in real life, I'll pop you in it. I'm not here to be violent. I'm not a violent person, but don't talk to me like I'm your fucking kid. I don't know y'all niggas, like, shut the fuck up. Don't talk to me. Y'all niggas didn't raise me. You ain't my fucking teachers. You ain't my grandparents. You ain't my aunts and my uncles. None of that. You watch your mouth when you come on my motherfucking channel talking shit, telling me what I can and cannot say, right? If I was not a black person, and I'm saying it just really, even if, because I am a Spaniard. That's part of my roots, I'm a black European, right? I'm half black. I got multiple other European ancestors. I got a little bit of Korean in me. I'm German. I'm Greek. And I have a little bit of Spanish in me as well. Okay? So these are the ethnicities that make up who I am. It's not fucking important, but I need to just clear the air because I don't, at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck. Again, like, if I wasn't black, I'm not going to be sitting up there just saying the N-word all day. Like, the shit doesn't make any sense, right? Because at the end of the day, that's you basically shooting career suicide because you're showing that you're a racist and you're saying a word that you're not supposed to say as you're not black, you're not a member of the black race, but you're saying it over and over again, right? If I was Hispanic only, because Spaniard, it's kind of pretty much the same thing, right? It's from Spanish roots, so it's kind of one and the same. If I was just straight up Hispanic, and I'm saying the N-word over and over and over again, I understand where the backlash is coming from, okay? Now, here's what I'm going to do for y'all niggas, okay? Y'all niggas ain't going to come on my motherfucking channel telling me as a black man, as a proud black man, and I'm not proud because I can say the N-word, all right? So for those that know, where does the black come from? My father is black. And here's the thing. I have no issue or quarrels with, I have no issues or qualms about showing a picture of my family to prove that, hey, listen, this is what it is. One, I don't fucking have to. That's first and foremost. I'm not entitled to prove anything. I know that I'm black. My father is 100% a African-American man, so that makes me African-American. All right? First and foremost. Secondly, it's none of y'all business what my family looks like or whatever the case may be, because just because I'm comfortable getting on this camera doesn't mean everybody else is comfortable being on a camera, being in a spotlight, being on the internet. So I don't have to prove nothing to you niggas at all. I'm black, and I'm not just claiming I'm black so I can say the word. That's just who I am. So whether or not y'all like it or not, y'all can kiss my ass, niggas, because I don't give a fuck. Do yourselves a favor, okay? Do yourselves a favor. I want you got 6ix9ine running around, and listen, I don't have no beef with him, but like I'm a keep it real, okay? You got 6ix9ine, he's straight up Hispanic, saying the word nigga. Y'all don't check him about it. Y'all allow him to say it. You got Fat Joe, straight Hispanic, he said nigga. Most members of Terror Squad who just Hispanic, Puerto Rican, whatever the case may be, they say nigga. Y'all didn't check them about it. Hispanic people, there's a lot of Hispanic people that say the N-word on a consistent basis. And y'all have allowed that to take place. So do yourselves a favor. Go get 6ix9ine and Fat Joe to stop saying the word nigga, and you can tell me. Then when you do that, and you can stop every single Hispanic person who's not black from saying the N-word, that's when you can police me by using that word. If you're coming from a place of maybe you should use better word choice, maybe you should not use as much ignorant language, you're not going to tell me I fucking talking about. I say whatever I want to say on my channel. But if you're coming from a place of, maybe you should probably use better word choice, maybe it's a little bit too much swearing, maybe it's making you come off a little ignorant, I respect your perspective. Okay, it doesn't mean I'm a heed to that motherfucker because I say what the fuck I want to say on my channel, but I respect that perspective, right? Because that's a reasonable perspective. Like, you know what? Maybe it's making you look ignorant. 100% understandable. I still say what the fuck I want to say on my channel, but I respect that perspective. If you're telling me I can't say nigga because you feel like that I'm not black when you look at me, that's y'all motherfucking problem. Until all the keyboard warriors go get Fat Joe and 6ix9ine and stop saying nigga. And a bunch of the other Hispanic people that you grew up around or may have not grown up around, get them to stop saying nigga and then come police another black man about that word. Until then, niggas, I say what the fuck I want to say on my channel. Because I'm a black man, and once again, I'm not claiming that so I can say the word. That's just who I am. I don't claim it because it's convenient for me to claim it. I don't claim it because it's profitable and makes me look good and makes me look like whatever certain people reasons may be as far as why they choose to do that. Who the fuck y'all niggas think I am? You motherfuckers think I'm Myron from Fresh and Fit? You honestly think that listen, don't get it fucked up. Black people got curly hair too. I'm not the only black person with curly hair. I'm also not the only black person that actually knows how to put two know how to speak correctly and speak eloquently. Like I'm not gonna lie, I ain't the smartest tool in the shed. I ain't gonna lie to you, all right? I'm not the smart. I would never claim to be the smartest nigga. There's always shit that I could learn and grow from. But at the same time, I don't know if maybe it's because I'm talking, you know, in a way where like I'm eloquently saying that, you know, sometimes every now and then I use big words or whatever the case may be, or maybe I just don't look the part. I'm black. Sorry to those that, you know, feel like that I'm not, but I'm black. So y'all niggas can kiss my ass, because you don't get to police me on me saying the N-word because you feel like that I'm not black. That's y'all motherfucking issue, not mine. Alright? Now y'all niggas be easy. Moving on from that shit. Don't come on my motherfucking channel doing that shit. Get 6ix9ine and Fat Joe to stop saying that word. And I'll consider it. I'll think about it. Because I'm black either way. I'll consider it. Until then, get a job, nigga. Punch in, nigga. Fuck you talking about? Get a life, nigga. The fuck out of here. Clock in. Clock in, niggas. And make sure that you don't take no 45-minute lunches. When the managers tell y'all niggas that it's a 30-minute lunch, you take 30 minutes. You don't take 45. Get the fuck out of my face. Now, moving on from that, I don't want to talk about this. I didn't make this whole video about trying to prove my blackness to y'all. Y'all can suck a dick, respectfully. Matter of fact, disrespectfully, suck a dick. Now, let's go to football now. Tua and Brian Flores. Tua Tagovailoa was on a podcast, and he was speaking about Brian Flores, about how, you know, just basically he was bringing an analogy like pretty much saying, imagine if you're being told every day that you're not good enough, that you're not, you know, whatever the case, but like basically in a nutshell, I don't remember the exact words, the exact quotes, but he was basically saying like, you know, Brian Flores was telling him that he's not good enough. And there's been there's been word around town. I can't confirm this. I heard Shannon Sharp say it and some few other people. Brian Flores wanted Justin Herbert to be the quarterback, not Tua Tagovailoa. Now, for those of you that don't remember, Tua Tagovailoa in Alabama, not only in my opinion is probably the best Alabama quarterback of all time, as of right now, not only that, he was a bad motherfucker. You got to remember this. He's a lefty. He was slinging the ball. He was winning football games. You know what I'm saying? Like, Tua was doing everything in the book. Okay? And I also want to reference to all the shit he's had to overcome, right? So, he came into the league like he had a debilitated injury that was going to keep him from some time. Otherwise, he would have been the first pick off the board. Because he was a bad Alabama, he was a bad motherfucker. Like, in my opinion, he's the greatest quarterback to ever play for the Crimson Tide, but that's up for y'all to debate that shit. But in my opinion, if I'm picking it, like let's just say if I'm creating an all Crimson Tide team, Tua would be my #1 quarterback. Now, word around town is Justin Herbert was the guy that Brian Flores wanted, and the ownership decided to go with Tua Tagovailoa. And he's a lefty, right? Now, over time, as his body started to recover, I had questions, so other people had questions about, okay, can he actually throw the ball 15 to 20 yards, or he just a straight-up Tyreek Hill merchant, right? This is also before that Jalen Waddle didn't have a great first year, but the second year he rebounded. Now he's a top 10 receiver in his league. So everybody was saying, okay, he just a Tyreek Hill merchant, right? The only reason why he's getting all this shit is because of Tyreek Hill. Because he can barely throw the ball accurately, and he can barely throw the ball like his arm is not big whatsoever, okay? Now, he answered the call on that, and he showed y'all that he is capable of throwing the ball down the field. Does he have the strongest of arms? No, but he's definitely more than capable of throwing the football down the field, and he has made tremendous strides in that area, right? A couple years ago, he had a bunch of concussions that pretty much could have put an end to his football career and was life-threatening. People were urging him like, yo, you need to think about your future. You need to retire. He chose that it wasn't time for him to retire. He kept going. And the very next year, he picked up where he left. And also, keep this in mind. I want you to keep this in mind, too. How many quarterbacks in NFL history have thrown for 500 and 600 yard games. If I'm not mistaken, Tua got like 3 games where he threw for 500 yards. I remember one of those was against the Baltimore Ravens. And Baltimore is pretty good, especially on the defensive end. He was having shootouts with Lamar Jackson. He might have had a shootout with somebody else. Tua was having 500, 600 yard games like it was fucking nothing. And as Mahomes, of course, is a superior player, Mahomes didn't have a 500, 600 yard game. Yes, he did. He did it against probably the greatest regular season game of all time, which was against the Los Angeles Rams, where Jared Goff was that quarterback. Like, I ain't gonna lie, that was one of my, the Super Bowl was boring as fuck. But I really, really enjoyed that season. Like, that season was fun as hell to watch. Now, moving forward with that. So, man was throwing 500, 600 yards, answer the call. Oh, he don't have a big arm. Showing everybody he has a big arm, right? And then he goes even further when his career should have been ended after all of the concussion. He should have retired early. He didn't retire early. And for the most part last year, he's picked up right back where he left off. And I'm going to be honest with you. There's been a lot of quarterbacks that got paid prematurely. Jordan Love only showed 1 season. That's not good enough. Trevor Lawrence is showing that he's just a serviceable number one. He's nowhere near the generational talent that everybody was heralding him to be at Clemson, right? Clemson, he's an amazing quarterback. Like, Clemson was actually fun to watch him playing quarterback. League, he's okay. And considering the fact the amount of weapons that he has at his disposal on both sides of the ball, he doesn't have a crazy amount of weapons, but he has a good enough weapons to be able to at least make the conference championship. Or at least win like 1 or 2 playoffs, like something of that nature. But he definitely should be doing a lot more and playing a lot better considering the talent that he has on a football team. He has Evan Ingram. He got Christian Kirk. He had Calvin Ridley. It's just like whatever happened with that situation, I don't know. I think he had Travis Etienne. At one point in time, he had James Robinson, who was pretty damn good. And I think he had maybe a couple other guys, 1 or 2 other guys. I think he had Laquan Treadwell, who came from Minnesota. Don't quote me on that, but I think he had him, who's actually a pretty good player. So he's had weapons. Defensively, I said Josh Allen was overrated back in the day. I had to eat my words, and I ain't gonna lie, I owe you an apology. Josh Allen was not only one of the best players in the league, he's probably one of the more underrated players in the league that doesn't get enough discussion. Like we mentioned Max Crosby a lot. Some people like to downplay how good T.J. Watt is. Like, people think that T.J. Watt's an elite player. No, T.J. Watt's the best defensive player in the league. Y'all can say whatever the fuck y'all want to say about whatever, but I'm telling you right now, T.J. Watt, bar none, is the best defensive player in the league. Myles Garrett gets discussion. Josh Allen doesn't get enough discussion, especially for these last 2 to 3 years where he's really been balling out for how good he is, right? And they also got Devin Lloyd, who's a middle linebacker. We'll see as time goes along with that. But they have players, right? And maybe some other guys that's not coming to me at this point in time too. But he's had players on both sides of the ball, and Doug Peterson is a hell of a coach. I mean, this man coached Nick Foles to a Super Bowl, to a championship. Doug Peterson is a hell of a coach. So with all of this, and again, he wasn't set up for success. Urban Meyer is the worst NFL coach of all time. But with that said, he's proven a lot of people wrong. And he is he's a top 10 quarterback in this league. And he didn't end the season as straight. And also, people have to remember this too. Everyone said, well, playoff success is in the third. I want you guys to understand something. The reality situation is, this is really like he hasn't really been able to play in the playoffs because he was always injured. You also have to remember that. A lot of the times that Miami was in the playoffs, he wasn't playing because he was injured. Only last year, it was different. Only difference is Miami couldn't get over that cold. Now, hopefully they'll change that moving forward because they really need to clean that shit up. So, I mean, I don't know how to feel about it. I mean, I think at the end of the day, as a head coach, I think you doing that to your quarterback is kind of fucked up. Again, I understand you want that guy. You wanted somebody different. But once he's on your team, once he's on your roster, and once the franchise said, okay, he's the guy. Again, I know it's not the easiest thing to have your franchise override who you want as the head coach. I get that. But at the same time, once he's on your team, you got to do the best you can to coach him up and encourage him to step into that leadership role. Because when you draft the quarterback in the first round, that's supposed to be your franchise guy. So you got to treat him as such. That doesn't mean baby him, but at the same time, you want to coach hard. You want to coach him up hard so he can, reach and hopefully excel the standards that are set for him and become a great football player. But at the same time, you don't want to go overboard, because there has to be some sort of encouragement that, hey, listen, if they gave you the keys to the franchise, I need you to go lead us, okay? And it's really just, you just got to be careful doing that. And I think he let his personal feelings aside, and I completely understand why Miami fired him in the first place. You know, to me, it wasn't. It's not really. You know, when you tell your franchise quarterback that he ain't shit, I mean, how long do you truly expect to keep a job at the end of the day? So, I mean, that was some interesting information to know. I think Miami got the right guy in choosing Mike McDaniels. Mike McDaniels has created a fantastic offense that works for Tua's strengths, that helped Jalen Waddle get out of that year one disappointment, that helped Tyreek do what Tyreek does. They got some great backs over there. They got a few guys. They got like this third or fourth rounder who played really, really well, and they might have somebody else too who's not coming to me at this moment. But they got like 2 or 3 good, like really good running backs on that squad. And defense, they got Bradley Chubb, they got Jalen Ramsey, and maybe some other players that's not coming to me at this point in time. But they got some hoopers on that football team. I think Christian Wilkins is still on there too. Don't quote me on that. But they got a really good football team. It's just a matter of them. Hey, you got to get comfortable playing in the cold. Okay, got to when the cold comes, you got to prepare your players for that. And then obviously just a matter of really Tua just staying healthy. But I think this team can go as far as they want. I think there's really not one team outside of the Chiefs that I could say that can definitively beat them, or is definitively a better football team. And also on top of that, you just gave him Odell Beckham. So Odell Beckham doesn't have to have as much of a burden, because they got good running backs, Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, so he can just do what he do, feel comfortable in the offense, and he could work inside. He's gonna be straight at wide receiver 3. So Miami's set up to have a very, very successful season. So best of luck to the both of them. And I kind of understand. I'm not 100% mad at Brian Flores, and I'm not gonna lie to you. When I seen Justin Herbert in college, I wasn't impressed. I'm like, he's gonna be like an average ass quarterback. He came in the league and he's leaps and bounds ahead of everybody. It's just that he's in a situation where got a brand new head coach. We're dealing with a head coach that didn't know what the fuck he was doing. And on top of that, when he did have receivers, a majority of them were injured. And the whole situation was a mess. You can't really blame Herbert. Herbert has shown that he's a top 10 quarterback in this league. I hear a lot of Eagles fans from time to time be hating on the guy, but just Herbert's talented. And I ain't gonna lie to you, it would be kind of interesting to kind of just imagine the idea of him playing with a Tyreek Hill and a Jalen Waddle. But I don't think everything would have came together the way it did had it been him playing. They probably would have gotten somebody else. We'll see. But I think Mike McDaniels could work with anybody. I think he could be just as successful with Herbert as he is with Tua Tagovailoa, if that makes sense. And you also want to know what pissed me off too, bro? I ain't gonna lie to you. What pissed me off too was the fact that Raheem Mostert, who was one of the running backs that I remember, he's not the only guy. He wasn't a recent 3rd or 4th round pick, but Raheem Mostert is very talented. We had this guy on the team and we got rid of him. So I don't know who the fuck. I don't know if it was Chip Kelly that did that bullshit, but we had a gold mine. You remember when the 49ers was whooping ass? It was the first Super Bowl that they've been to. And they was getting like 200-yard games. It was him and then another running back. And they was just, they whooped the Packers' ass by literally just playing great defense and running the football. Like, I cannot believe the Eagles had Mostert and we just let him go like that. But let's just hope it was the Chip Kelly era that did that dumbass shit. And it is what it is. Or maybe, sometimes it's just not worth. Like, by the way, shout out to Kevon Wallace. Because if I'm not mistaken, Kevon Wallace was on Seattle and they made him a captain. I don't know if that's a permanent thing or what's going on with that. But Kevon Wallace, I'm a little bit pissed off because he could have been a really, really good depth piece playing in the secondary. Yes, for the most part, he did not play well. However, around the time that year that we ended up getting rid of him when Kevin Byard came in, he actually was improving. Like, I would say that season we got to the Super Bowl and moving forward, the dude was actually getting better and he was finally getting his feet under him, and we just got rid of him. And honestly, I low-key missed him because he was smacking his shit out of people. His coverage wasn't great, but he was smacking his shit out of people. And on top of that, the dude was actually improving. And he was actually pretty good on playing special teams defense as well. So shout out to Kevon Wallace, man. I'm very happy that his career is turning around. Same thing with Rasul Douglas from Buffalo, man. Rasul Douglas actually, he's a pretty damn good player himself. I think Rasul Douglas played for Philadelphia, but I don't think I was a fan of that particular. I think I was like a fan of the Saints or the Packers, one of those two. Yeah. So moving forward with that. Let's talk about the biggest thing that happened this week was the Jahan Dotson acquisition. So, Philadelphia gets a 5th-round pick. We gave them we gave Washington a 3rd and a 7th, right? There's been rumblings, and Seth Joyner voiced his concerns about, how there was reports coming out about Jahan Dotson's attitude. He felt like he was entitled to the wide receiver 2 spot, and he didn't really want to work for it, right? I'm going to be very, very honest with you. This is the truth.